You woke up this morning. You checked your phone. You drank something cold from a refrigerator that didn't exist 200 years ago. Nothing about that felt strange. But somewhere inside your body, evolution is still running. Quietly, invisibly. Right now, you were taught that evolution happened a long time ago. Cavemen, saber-toothed tigers, a slow crawl from ape to human that finished once you showed up. But that's not how it works. Evolution never finished. It never stops. It's happening in your cells at this exact second, and by the time you finish watching this, you will understand why. Start with your milk. Most mammals lose the ability to digest milk after infancy. Their bodies simply stop producing the enzyme lactase once they're weaned. Humans should be the same. But something like a third of the world's adult population can drink a glass of milk without any trouble at all. That ability didn't exist 10,000 years ago. It appeared after humans began domesticating cattle and drinking dairy as adults. A single genetic mutation let some early farmers survive famine and disease better than their neighbors. They passed on more children. Their genes spread. Geneticist Sarah Tishkoff, who studies this mutation across African and European populations, has shown it arose independently in different regions, at different times, as different groups made the same discovery. Milk didn't just feed people, it changed their DNA. Here's the part that should stop you. That mutation is only about 4,000 to 7,000 years old. In evolutionary terms, that is barely a blink, which means the version of you reading this right now carries evidence of a change that happened after the pyramids were built. You are not a finished product. You are a work in progress that just happens to be conscious of itself. And it didn't happen just once. It happened over and over, in isolated pockets of the world, as if evolution kept discovering the same solution independently. A herder in East Africa and a farmer in Northern Europe, separated by thousands of miles and no contact whatsoever, both ended up with different genetic tweaks that produced the same result. Their bodies solved the same problem in different ways. That's not a coincidence. That's what evolution does when the pressure is strong enough. It finds a path, whatever path is available, and it takes it. Think about what that means for you personally. If you can drink milk as an adult without discomfort, you are carrying a genetic fingerprint of a decision your ancestors made when they chose to keep herding animals instead of abandoning them during hard seasons. If you can't, your body is simply following the older, more common blueprint that most mammals still use. Neither version is broken. Both are evolution, caught mid-motion, still deciding. Think about altitude. Populations living high in the Tibetan plateau breathe air with far less oxygen than people at sea level. Most bodies respond to that stress by producing more red blood cells, thickening the blood, which sounds helpful until it starts causing serious health problems over time. But Tibetans evolved a different solution. Researcher Rasmus Nielsen and his team discovered a gene variant inherited from a now extinct human relative called the Denisovans that lets Tibetan populations use oxygen more efficiently without thickening their blood at all. That gene moved from an extinct species through interbreeding tens of thousands of years ago into a living population that still carries it today. A ghost of another human species is quietly working inside living lungs on a mountain right now. Does that sound like ancient history to you? Or does it sound like it's still unfolding? Evolution isn't a straight line moving towards some ideal human. It's a constant negotiation between your body and whatever environment you happen to be born into. Every generation is a new round of that negotiation, and the environment keeps changing faster than most people realize. Consider disease. Malaria has shaped human genetics more aggressively than almost any other force in history. In parts of Africa, a genetic mutation causes red blood cells to form a sickle shape instead of a smooth disc. Carrying two copies of this gene causes sickle cell disease, a serious and painful condition. But carrying just one copy provides significant resistance to malaria. In regions where malaria kills children before they reach adulthood, that trade-off was worth it. The gene spread not despite its cost, but because of the protection it offered. Your body, if you carry that gene, is running an ancient calculation your conscious mind never made. That calculation has no morality attached to it. Evolution doesn't care about pain. It doesn't care about fairness. It only cares about what survives long enough to reproduce. A gene that shortens some lives while saving others isn't a design flaw. It's a statistical bet made blindly over thousands of generations in a region where the alternative was almost certain death in childhood. Biologist J.B.S. Haldane was among the first to propose this connection between sickle cell traits and malaria resistance decades ago. And modern genetic mapping has confirmed it again and again across different African populations. The trade-off is still active today, in living bodies, in regions where malaria remains a serious threat. Now bring this closer to home. Closer than milk, closer than mountains, closer than malaria. Human wisdom teeth are vanishing. Not overnight, not dramatically, but slowly, generation by generation, more people are being born without them at all. Anthropologists believe this is linked to changes in diet and jaw size that began accelerating with the rise of cooked processed food. Softer food required less jaw development. Smaller jaws left less room for a third set of molars. Some researchers estimate that within a few thousand years, wisdom teeth could disappear from the human mouth entirely. If you've ever had yours removed, you weren't just having a dental procedure. You were watching evolution catch up to a body that no longer needed what it inherited. But teeth are just the beginning. Look at your appendix, an organ doctors once dismissed as useless leftover tissue. Newer research suggests it may serve as a reservoir for beneficial gut bacteria, helping repopulate the digestive system after illness. That's not proof of an old forgotten purpose fading away. It might be proof of a new purpose quietly emerging. Evolution doesn't only delete what's unnecessary. Sometimes it repurposes what's already there, finding new value in old material. The same way a language slowly reshapes an old word into a new meaning. Even your immune system tells the story. Populations exposed to centuries of certain diseases, like the plague in medieval Europe, show genetic markers today that suggest ongoing selection for immune resilience. Geneticist Hendrik Poinar and colleagues traced how survivors of historical plague outbreaks pass down immune-related gene variants that still show up in the DNA of their descendants. You could be carrying a defense mechanism built by an epidemic that ended hundreds of years ago, still standing guard against threats it was never designed to recognize. Here's a question worth sitting with. If evolution favors whatever helps you survive and reproduce in your specific environment, what is your environment currently selecting for? It's worth asking, because the pressures shaping humans today look nothing like the pressures that shaped your ancestors. Nobody is being eaten by predators in a parking lot. Few people are dying of childhood malnutrition in wealthy nations. Instead, modern life is filled with new, quieter pressures: chronic stress, sedentary movement, processed food, constant artificial light disrupting sleep cycles that evolved around sunrise and sunset. Biologists don't yet know exactly how these forces will reshape future generations, but they know pressure always leaves a mark, eventually, somewhere in the genome. Evolutionary biologist Theodosius Dobzhansky once argued that nothing in biology makes sense except in the light of evolution. That includes you, your allergies, your ability to tolerate certain foods, your resistance or vulnerability to specific diseases. Even how your body handles stress are all shaped by a process older than language, still running beneath the surface of your daily life. You're not separate from that process. You are the process mid-sentence. This is the part most people miss. Evolution is often imagined as something dramatic, a fish crawling onto land, a knuckle-dragging ancestor slowly standing upright. But real evolutionary change usually looks like almost nothing at all. A slightly higher survival rate here, a slightly better reproductive outcome there, repeated across thousands of generations until, eventually, the invisible becomes undeniable. So when you look in the mirror, you're not looking at the finished version of a human being. You're looking at a temporary snapshot, a single frame in a film that started nearly 4 billion years ago and is still rolling, whether or not you notice it happening. Somewhere in a lab right now, scientists are tracking new genetic variants spreading through modern populations, from disease resistance to metabolic changes linked to modern diets. Somewhere in the world, a population is adapting right now to conditions you may never personally experience. And somewhere inside your own body, silent adjustments are being made, cell by cell, generation by generation, in response to a world that never stops changing. You woke up this morning and checked your phone. You drank something cold from a refrigerator. You assumed, like most people do, that you were simply living your life. But you weren't just living it. You were shaping it. One invisible, ongoing negotiation between your body and your world. Are you still evolving right now, today? You already know the answer. You've been evolving this entire time.